Hey, hello everybody, I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race. Season 14, Episode 2. The premiere part 2?
Big opening number 2.
Yeah.
That's what the first one was called.
That was what the first one was
Didn't
called.
have it up last week, but yeah.
I like this group of girls.
Better than...
Maybe.
Really?
Do you not?
No.
Oh.
That's not to say I don't like them, but
I'm speaking broadly. I still think Cornbread and Bosco and Willow Peel are they're at the top of my list.
So I liked a lot of these queens. I was disappointed with the talents because like 4 of them just lip synced. And I was like, oh, well, okay.
Okay. I get that.
But I like Jasmine and I like Georges and I like Angeria and I like Maddy. I want Maddy to stick around for at least 5 episodes.
I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna start with Maddy.
We don't have to start. I'm just saying I like him.
I kind of love him. I kind of think he's cute.
He's got a good vibe.
So I was doing that. I wasn't against it whatsoever.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a fucking stunt for what is a reality TV show, competition show. And I think I guess sort of the debate was that he's distracting from, more deserving queer people, artists, yada yada yada. And I get that, and I think if we were launching this show with that,
sure, if this were season 1,
or even 2 or 3, I think we're far enough in. And one of the things that I was excited to look into, and I hoped they would touch on, and they already have, is not that he was taking something away from queer people, but what he would bring to the conversation for masculinity, period. Let alone, straight, what is acceptable for straight men to do and what, yada yada. And he I think he spoke and not spoke because he also shut up a few times.
He did shut up a few times, but I loved what he said about how he felt, and I loved they called out to Wong Fu because while it's not a totally accurate representation of drag, it is a lot of people in our generation. It's a lot of touch. It's a touchstone. It's a first exposure to drag and stuff. And I mean, I think also having, especially because John Leguizamo not as much, but having 2 masculine men, Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes. Dressed as women, that entire movie was super important. And the fact that he was that's the first time I saw it, and I sort of fell in love with it, and then I got obsessed with fashion and makeup is wild.
Well, and he also said, which this was kind of, I was curious to see if they were going to touch on it, but he was sort of, quick to say, and I'm not declaring open season. This isn't an open call for straight people to just he was because that was sort of what I said privately when all of this was going down. The announcement of the cast members and everything. And I said, well, it's like in the movie A Star Is Born when Lady Gaga is like, the queens allow me to perform on these days. And it's very to go to one of my other favorite things, the scene from Girls Trip where Regina
you
Hall,
are a guest here.
And it's I think as long as you're respectful of the community, but it's I kind of love, and then to transition a little bit into a second talking point, there was also chatter, and this is super reductive. We're not actually entertaining this conversation, but I think it's a little funny and a little interesting. But there was chatter as to whether he actually was straight. Because I was curious if this was going to be a gay by May scenario, where I was maybe he's just not fully there.
He's just not sure yet.
And they very. I never really thought of it this way, but they very blatantly said more than once said that he identifies as a straight man.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
there you go.
Yep.
And so I was curious. I was watching him a little bit while we were doing this, and on several occasions I was like, oh yeah, no,
he's pretty straight. Also Michelle was clean up your makeup a little. So there's some finessing to happen.
He did sort of stride into the workroom, but even that, the Guy Fieri, I thought that was so funny and so interesting.
Also, I love the look from the official photo session, photo call for
the
this
yesified
season.
vision.
It's so good. I every once in a while I love the bald no wig thing.
We need to watch I think it's season 9 that has Sasha Velour. I think you'll like her.
Yeah.
Do you know her?
About Sasha,
and kudos to him for the talent for the guitar. Was a little lackluster, but it was a solid talent playing an instrument.
So it was a little boring, but it was a real talent. And with 4 of the other queens doing a lip sync, it really stood out.
That's the hurdle that you're stuck on.
Really disappointed. Really disappointed.
Were you? Wow.
I was. And the thing I'll say is it was Georges did her own song.
Mm-hmm.
That was fine. If you're doing if you're lip syncing to your own song,
I don't remember if it was
Angeria,
it was her own song.
Okay.
I don't know if Georges was, but Georges was also dancing.
Yes.
And that is, you said real talent, and that's...
No, lip syncing is a real talent. I apologize.
But dancing is it's a skilled or technically skilled. I don't know. So.
Playing legit electric blues guitar is very impressive in a sea of lip syncing, which Michelle and Ru both were like, we do that every week. You have to do something different.
It's sort of a given.
And none of them even made it kind of funny or silly or anything.
Well, I disagree with that. I have my notes by queen, so I'm just going to go that way. And if we go off in directions as we are wont, we will do that. Georges, I kind of judged her a little bit. She seemed like she was going to be a little too prissy.
I agree.
And she did not.
Nope.
I think I like her a whole bunch. She's the self-described Tex-Mex showgirl. Her dancing was great. He's cute. I think that a lot
also
of these
this big, so teeny
tiny. Because there was a scene where they were walking out with it was Georges and Angeria, and I was like, Angeria seems pretty small too, and it was like
it was a lot.
But I think this crop, I liked a lot of their attitudes.
Sure,
they seemed
I agree with that.
very friendly, and I don't know if it's because we had a similar thing last season where when they did the double premiere, it sort of gives each group a camaraderie.
Yeah.
Because they know there's others that they haven't met yet, so they go ahead and befriend.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I like that more or less. It's just something that I've noted. But Georges is evidently very skilled.
Yeah.
In her drag. They were saying she's apparently got a very large following already, like an Instagram following, because several of them recognized her.
Well, she's real pretty. And that runway look, holy shit.
Wow.
So good.
Wow.
First of all, that is my exact favorite shade of purple. And then it was all crystals and mesh and it was stunning.
I can't go as far as to say I've never seen anything like it, but I certainly have not seen it 100 times.
Right.
And you run into that, with a mermaid silhouette is beautiful.
Especially the pageant queens, to which I'll say that I really liked Angeria, but it is a vibe I've seen a million times.
Yes, but I am kind of living for Angeria.
She's great.
Funny, sweet, big, early Miss Congeniality energy contender.
Oh, yeah. I feel that.
She has just this sort of it's because she's not old. She seems very young and vibrant.
Like a grandma.
But she has a maternal. Yeah. She has a wise beyond her.
Is it the Southern? It's the Georgia. I want her to be a little less severe with her nose contour.
I don't think that's on the table. I don't think
you don't think that's doable for her. That's not in her cards. That's fine.
And I love what she's doing with it.
Yeah.
Her talent. You said it was lip syncing to one of her own songs. I remember it being
it was good,
nice. And her she's the one that had that red wine, and it was very pageanty. But again, also it did have an identity because that's the one.
Because we were it looks like a designer Barbie. Holiday Barbie, and it had the I love this because it had a skirt, but then it had like the extra skirt that's just in the back that like is poofy and a different fabric and everything.
I really like Angie, like more than I thought I was going to, and she won both challenges. Do you have any opinions on that Tic Tac challenge? Well, you were like,
I don't like the idea.
And I was like, it's just Tic Tacs. And you were like, yes, but first of all, they're going to be doing it for a long period of time.
Hours.
And you were like, after like 6 sweaty men climb into that candy. And I was sort of like, okay, yeah, that does sound kind of disgusting.
So I guess I'll go out on a limb and say maybe Georges and Lady Camden don't sweat, but the rest of them for sure do. And I was like, they're going to be sticky. The orange is going to be coming off of them.
Because think about it, even just holding Tic Tacs in your palm and it leaves a skid mark.
And then all of them were just like emptying Tic Tacs out of their bras the rest of the episode. Disgusting. Also, I don't want to get into this conversation in this episode of this, but it's very food wasty too.
Oh,
unless they were not real Tic Tacs, in which case I'm
sure they were. That doesn't bother me.
I also really.
It can bother you. It just doesn't.
Yeah. RuPaul is going to a real Ellen place for me with the whole like walking up, like while poor Deja Skye was trying to take her photo and doing like a wire hangers rendition, but like, this is not a big enough bowl of Tic Tacs. It was a lot. She's doing a lot.
I will say she is doing a lot based on 2 episodes of this season.
It's a lot.
And the other thing I'll say is I think she's pulling her shtick off at least better than Tyra Banks ever did.
Oh, that's not even a question. Of course she is.
But I have
besides the point.
Further comments on either of the other things you just talked about.
You're going to hang me out to dry with that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we mentioned before, but Michelle does seem to be. I mean, I know she's always been sort of like the tough judge, the Simon Cowell, but she seems to be a little bit in rare form.
She is. And again,
I mean, I'm fine with it, but
not as much this week, but I again agree that they are giving critiques that are well beyond episode 1 critiques in an interesting way.
So we had Deja Skye. I liked her. I liked her sensibility. I thought her cheerleading routine was nice. I thought it was amusing. I don't know that I would go as far as to say it was neither fully a successful comedy routine or fully successful cheerleading routine.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the issue.
It was very gentle and it didn't 100% land. Like for me, the funniest part was the like jumps that she was doing. Because you could tell she was putting it on to be as bad as it was. But it just sort of is like, she can jump higher than that. Everyone can jump higher than that. That was a joke. But it was very gentle and it wasn't like as amazing as it could or should have been. And I'm also I want a little more blending in the middle of her makeup. It's very, very white in the center.
It just didn't flop as hard as Orion's story did. So I was sort of relieved. And I mean, we talked about it last week, but I was going to say, frankly, I don't even think Orion's story was all that bad. It just wasn't formed.
Yeah, it wasn't polished.
We got a comment from one of our watchers that frequently comments and said it was like a lesser version of the bit Crystal Method did 2 years prior, and I got that absolutely.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing I'll say about Deja Skye is her routine was at least it was polished. It was one thing. You know, it wasn't like unsure of what it was. It was one thing and it had a beginning, middle, and end.
And also it's like, so comedy is subjective, as all art is. However, broadly, you can sort of tell the difference between a bad routine or a routine that just didn't work this time. Mm-hmm. It might have worked differently with different people.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit defending it. Plus, I adored her runway.
The runway was very cool.
That's the second one, like Georges's, where I was like, I mean, I've seen something like it before.
But not identical.
But it really felt it felt fresh to me.
Because actually the thing that it reminded me most of was Eureka wore something similar to that on like the most recent All Stars. She had a couple things that were like
I just really liked like the turban, or I'm sure it's called something different, but
and the shawl.
I
cool.
really liked it.
A lot. I actually was a big fan of this entire runway, except for Diabetes. It was interesting.
The more I looked at it, the more I liked it, but it just, given all of the parameters, it was just easier to be like, this is just the one that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I felt similarly about Orion, where I was like, it's not so much that you're not good. I think that both of them are good.
Yeah.
I think this is a bit more of the way the cookie crumbles type situation.
Definitely.
Well, we were talking about Diabetes, which she went home.
Yeah.
She is Crystal Method's sister, ironically, because we just mentioned Crystal from Orion's story, but oh, yeah, she did the lip syncing to Pink.
Yeah.
It was fine. Although the hat under the hat did get a lot of mileage for our.
It was almost worth it for that. But even like you get to a point where it's like after the workroom and Ru is like, you need to do something more than just lip sync. And then you just come out and only lip sync to Pink with like a slightly tiny hat underneath. And you don't even try to do aerial gymnastics. Then, I don't know what to do for you.
Well, she was kind of dressed like Kirsten Dunst in her tap dance costume from Drop Dead Gorgeous. And I kind of would have preferred if she did like a bad tap routine.
Sure. like
a comedy tap routine.
Yeah. No, 100%. That would have been super funny. And then the runway was like ribbons and everything, but then it was like torn on the back, and it is just a bad day. I feel like she's probably great.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that they either. Yeah. How do you feel about Lady Camden? I feel like she might be a front runner for you. Not really?
I wouldn't say a front runner. I don't not like her.
Oh, she gave me you vibes.
Okay. Okay, so I liked her enter the workroom look, and I liked it differently when she wore it on the runway and put a peacock tail on it. It was the exact same color palette. The hair was similar. I mean, everything about it was like, and I get if you have a shtick, you have a shtick. But next week, Michelle is going to tell you to stop wearing pastel pink and blue and purple and
she's
white.
Not even. It was Deja that called herself the pastel princess.
Yeah.
I liked Lady Camden.
I like her fine. She's definitely not a front runner. For me right now, it's Willow and Maddy are my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think Cornbread's gonna win.
Yeah. I liked her center stage can heat ballet nod, although unforgivable.
You don't
unforgivable.
You
that
don't
she
do a
didn't.
red reveal? Come on.
That was because Rachel was like, I hope she does a reveal, and we were like, she's gotta do a reveal. She didn't do.
Hard no.
She didn't do it.
Also, I do think that it was, I guess that was the interesting part, is that she did it in heels, but like...
Well, she also might have been afraid that it would remind Ru too much of ballet.
RuPaul. Come on.
Ru watched ballet once and found it kind of boring. And I was like...
Can't. First of all...
The less said, there the better.
One of the most technically demanding art forms in the world. I just like... Whatever. So
Fantine danced well into her 50s.
I do wish that she had done it in the point shoes. I think it would do actual ballet. It wasn't boring when Brooklyn Heights did it. You can make ballet interesting. That's the entire point of the movie center stage. The entire point. Killing me. That's like what that number is about.
And then there's Jasmine Kennedy. I think he is very cute.
He's super cute.
The glasses, the cheekbones,
the hair,
the teeth.
Yep.
And I think I like Jasmine. Yep. She did. I don't remember her entrance.
Oh yeah, like pink and feathers and the purple wig.
Right. Yeah. I did like that. Although apparently not enough.
I just straight up forgot what she was wearing. But the purple wig is what did it for me.
Yeah, well, and I think because that to me looking at that just now, that is a different drag queen.
So
registered as a different person.
For me, the face is giving me who was the one? Laganja. The face is giving me Laganja, and so because I wasn't in love with Laganja on her season, it was immediately off-putting. But the more that we got to know Jasmine, I was like, oh, okay, no, this is fine. And then she wore that beautiful gold.
I think it was, because Rue blatant, or Michelle said the Queen. It's that documentary from the 60s, The Queen we talked about. We haven't, we haven't seen it, but we talked about it on our Paris is Burning episode. Yeah. And I think the way her hair was styled is like I don't remember her name. She's like a big deal. Crystal LaBeija. Does that sound? I'm trying so hard.
Yeah, Crystal LaBeija, American drag queen.
It was a nod to that, and good. Pulled off very well. She had the big tits.
Yep.
And everything. So yeah, she's one for me to. She's.
I guess now, like running through the list of them all, I guess I really do like these queens a lot. Maybe it's just that like the highs. You were
very taken by Willow.
I was,
and Cornbread is like I said, this is her game to lose.
Yeah, there's like not a question in my mind.
So I think part of you was sort of like we've already but no, like I said, because the ones that I really have my eye on are Cornbread and Bosco and Willow. And then I do like Georges. I like Jasmine. I like this. Angeria. I think this is a solid.
This feels like a good season. And the only thing I'll say is that I am very disappointed that we will not keep being able to say Dia Betty, because that is a very excellent drag name. Very excellent.
So yeah, I'm kind of stoked.
Yeah,
I'm kind of in like with this
I'm
season,
excited.
So.
As with last season, and I don't remember if they did it for season 12, I am just excited to get all of the queens in a room together, because I like meeting them where we have a little bit more time with all of them, but it feels like a forced thing. And this year, at least, I'm very glad that we actually kicked 2 of them to the curb already.
And
that there does not yet appear to be a game within a game.
I actually don't know how many episodes we're getting.
I don't either.
Because it was like season 1 was like 7 episodes, and then they just gradually kind of kept, because we had like 16 last year, I think.
It was so many.
And I think that I am really glad that we started with the talent show. I think it was very interesting, because to my understanding, I think that's the kind of thing they reserved for All Stars usually.
Oh.
I think they didn't like to put them on the spot.
Okay.
And I think it's kind of nice to ask people to, especially at this point in this franchise, to ask contestants to put their money where their mouth is. I think it's interesting. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, well, stay tuned, like and subscribe, and let us know what you think within reason.
Be nice.
Constructive.
Yeah. Bye.